Alright, it's rest. It's recording now.
Okay.
So you tick it.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, we had a little bit of assignment the other day. Supposed to be through with it.
How old is Mr. Jones? 37. Halfway to 15, he goes downhill from here.
Not all the way finished there. Supposed to be finished. Are you telling me what the answers are?
We're checking answers.
Checking answers. Is there any of them you'd like to see work?
Yes. I'm a star.
You
Well, I get confused.
was 2 UV.
No.
Huh?
No, I didn't do that. 13. Yeah, on multiplying by no. That was why.
Minus 72.
I don't know.
Wow.
13 is equal to
Number 13. I come up with you, we're in the hole.
I'm not.
The only reason I didn't come up, because I can win, I would do it,
What about the binomial multiplication? Anybody have a question on it?
I didn't do 13. I don't know why.
Alright, on the polynomial and monomial side, what number would anybody like to see? This side here. Everybody alright on all those? I mean, it simply should have been 48x squared plus 48x, 42n squared plus 21n.
Do number 9.
Number 9. Number 9 should be, you're going to multiply 3, that's just going to be a 3. You got n times n squared, so it'd be n to the third. 3 times 6 is 18, you got 2 n's, and 15n. You what?
Took me a lot longer than that just to do that.
You can't multiply?
Took me like
We don't have to
5
write it
minutes
out,
to do
right?
that one problem.
Like I can do it like that now.
That's fine, right there. I write, you mean, you're talking about 3n times n, 1 plus, I do that for your benefit, not mine. I want you to know why it occurs.
So we don't have to write like 1 plus 2 up here.
Folks, I do that so that you're learning it, you know what's going on. If you have that right there as an answer, that's fine. Because that means you know what you're doing. I don't, that's not work. What they're talking about is you have to do it like 3 times 1, n to the 1 plus 2, minus 3 times 6, n to the 1 plus 1, and 3 times 5, and I gotta find a pen that will write. N. No, you don't have to do that. Unless it helps you or you know what you're doing, it's fine. Because that's not really showing work. That just shows you what I'm showing you what happens, why it is that answer. Any others on that page? Everybody, so if I give a pop quiz, y'all all ready for it?
No, my brain hasn't decided.
Don't take me to that page.
14. Good job, Ken.
14. Alright. It'd be 2 times 6 is 12. You got 1 u and 2 there, so you got u to the 1 plus 2, which is 3. 2 times 9 is 18. Here's 1 u and there's another one, so that's u to the second. You got a v there. Then 2 u v squared. So what you got? Any others? Everybody's all right. Okay, what about the binomials? Why?
I don't know. It's not dead.
Not done.
It's not dead. Will you do it?
Anybody else? Precious at 13. All it would be, it'd be 6 times 2 is 12. That'd be 12x squared. And then 6 times that, that's 48x. That times that is 4x. And 2 times 8 is 16. So I got 12x squared. 48 plus 4 is 52x plus 16. So that would be one of those that if I gave you that answer and said factor it, like I showed the other day, that would be a little difficult because, see, you have to cover everything 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and down here at 16, you got to cover 1 times 16, 2 times 8.
I saw one, I was like, why is this so difficult for me? And I remember that you said if X is anything more than
Now,
1.
if it's more than 1, then you got to cover all the scenarios. So it becomes a little more difficult. You know, because then at the end, I got to have 2 numbers that will multiply, give me 16. But by using these coefficients, I got to find a way to get 52 as a sum in there. And it's a little crazy sometimes. Anybody else have a question on any of them? Now's the time to ask. So I'm assuming anybody else, any number? 16. All right. You got an x and an x, so that's x times x or x squared. X times 7, negative 4 times x. Negative times negative is a plus, and 4 times 8 is 4 times 7 is 28. So it's x squared, negative 7, negative 11x. Yeah. Yep.
Why are you looking at me?
I hope you finished all of it, because
Michael, she does.
any others?
Can you flip back over? I want to look at the 14 on the other side.
That's an 18u square v.
On the other side. From what we just did on the board.
Now, most of the time, when you multiply 2 binomials, your answer is always what? What did I tell you it would be?
Positive.
No.
Trinomial.
Trinomial. There are certain cases that it will not be a trinomial answer. If you have something like this, alright, you say, alright, x times x is x squared, x times negative 6, negative 6x, that's plus 6x, and that's going to be a minus 36. What happens here?
Oh.
It's so
There's no X.
Oh, yeah, it's not Wednesday.
Hey, Dad, quit
It's just X2.
texting me in the middle of
Got
the
it, I'll tell you.
What
phone. Tell him, said you interrupted algebra today because
Does he want to know about the thermostat again?
No, we have ball pictures on Wednesday. He just reminded all of us to
Oh,
remind
yeah.
y'all again. We have basketball
He's on
pictures.
his
Alright. What happens here to the middle term?
It
Goes away.
It gets extinct.
It does. Your answer ends up only being a binomial answer.
Wait.
Negative 6x plus 6x is going to be 0. So what happens is you end up only with a binomial answer. Your answer here is a perfect square on both ends, the difference of 2 perfect squares. X squared is a perfect square number. 36 is a perfect square number. And it's always going to be a minus in there. But it only occurs when you have the same variable, the same coefficient, but opposite signs. One's plus and one's minus. That's the only time you're going to get an answer that is not a trinomial, a binomial answer. Now, you can get answers that are not trinomial and end up being a polynomial answer, but it would be something like, you know, x plus 5 and y minus 3. It had to be different variables. And you might not end up with, you won't end up with the same thing. Okay? So that answer is going to be like, it'll be x, y, minus 3x plus 5y minus 15. And none of that will combine. So that answer is, that's as simple as it'll get. So those are the only scenarios where you're not going to get a trinomial answer. You'd have to have different variables, but or you have to have something that is a difference of two perfect squares at the end. You're going to have the same variable, same constant, but one's a plus and one's a minus. Crickets, sometimes I don't know. Whether or not. Any other questions on any of them? Got them all done.
Monica? I think she has them. I know I got them.
All I know is if you don't, you're hurting yourself. But, all right. All right. What we have today is similar. One of the things you'll see today is you might see something like this. And it'd be nice if you could see it. And then, what does that mean? 3x minus 1 quantity squared. And you have to multiply it.
Means everything is squared.
You multiply everything in there by itself.
Well, you can't. Technically, what this is this. Right? There's two of them. So that'd be 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x is x squared. 3 times that is minus 3x. That's a minus 3x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a plus 1. So you can come out with an answer like that. So you can take your binomial and take it out of the square and realize there's two of them there. There is another way you can do it quicker. If you take the problem, let's just do another one real quick, 2x plus 3 and quantity squared. You take the first one and you square it. So square the first number. You're going to square the last number. Get that program back on there. And then take the product of the two things. 2x is 6x, but you got to double it. And if you'll notice up here, we've done the same thing. 3x squared would have been 9x squared, right? And negative 1 squared would be positive 1. And then this would be negative 1 times 3 would be a negative 3x. But you had to double it, so it becomes negative 6x. So you'd have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. So you can do it actually without having to set it up and, 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. You can, and if you have to, do it that way. If that makes you think, like I said, everybody's mind does not think the same way. Some people need to see it, and that's fine. Some people, this?
It's not what you just said. You didn't have to work it out.
I'm just showing that you can work it out.
How do you not work it out?
I just showed you how to do one without going through all of this. Without going through the 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 9. 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. That's what you do if you do a binomial. Use a FOIL method or just multiplication. I'd eliminate that step. Alright, square this one, that'd be 4x squared, square the last one, that's 9. 3 times 2 is 6x, double it is 12x.
Why did you do 3 times 2?
3 times, because you're gonna have 2 of these terms inside here. So see, you got 3 times 2 here and 3 times 2 here, and there's 2 of them. That's why you're gonna double it. Say we did this,
Wait, can we do one?
do that one. And do it without the 2 binomials. Because you know you can do that. I want you to try to do it in your head real quick, no work. You can write the answer down.
I thought we were told to always show our work.
I'm showing you,
I am not-
I'm showing you how, now, if what it's gonna end up is this. And again, once we start doing them, I'm gonna let you try this one. If you got a problem like that on your assignment, I know you do, if you need to write it out like this and do it, do it. Alright, it's not gonna bother me.
Okay, I forgot what
But I just want you to know, if you'll think about it, how fast you could actually do one of these problems without having to go through all of these steps.
I can't look at that one, do it. I can look at that one, do it.
Okay.
I had.
Again, if you need to, do this. But I want you to know this is this. Okay? That's the first thing. I want you to know when you see 4x minus 3 parentheses quantity squared, that is technically that thing times itself.
Would there ever be a little 3 up there?
Yes, there can be. And that would just mean there'd be 3 of them out there then. And the way to do that is you have to multiply 2 of them together, get an answer, take it and multiply it times the third one. Alright, ready?
No, but
Nope.
could you, if you did the cube one, could you do it just the same way as you did in the square, you just do it cube?
Yeah, but you can only do 2 at a time, as far as I can remember. I mean, you do 2, I would do these 2, get an answer, and then multiply the answer times one more.
I think I got it.
It's like if I had to multiply 2 times 7 times 5. I'd multiply 2 times 7, 14, then times 5. Alright,
I think it is, you're wrong. You're wrong.
double the first one,
I'm wrong.
16x squared. Double the last one,
You can't simplify.
negative 3, that'd be a 9, plus 9. That's gonna be a negative, 3 times 4 is negative 12x, double it, what would you have?
Oh,
Did you forget the double?
There's the answer. Gotta double it.
I just did 16 times 9.
The generic formula for this is this. It's,
Yeah, kind
Now that you say it out loud, he's like, well.
if you want to just see a generic form of it, it would be this. That's a generic form of it. It's the square of the first number, it's the square of the last number. It is the product of the 2 numbers times 2. That's what it is.
If I didn't simplify, is
Yeah.
that way do another
That
way?
makes
When I
it
didn't
go
know
a
how
lot
to do
easier
it.
than it
Like, I had to like
Can we
make
do
sure
it?
that my stuff.
And some formulas make it so complex, and other ones it's like, whoa, eye opener.
This is the first time I've ever said that.
Coach Holt.
Oh, I probably need to show you a couple other things.
Wait, Coach Holt,
What?
if I didn't simplify my wrong.
You can almost never see liquid knowledge.
If it should be simplified down to.
But it doesn't mean it's wrong. I just
No,
get it
wrong, it's just take off.
Yeah, but I'll say it was kind
Alright,
of.
do that one in your mind real quick. Think of this model right here to do that one.
Sometimes formulas make them look so easy, and other times formulas make them really hard.
And that formula can be written also this way, which is so it can be a plus or minus. The only difference is if it's a plus up here, it's going to be a plus in there. If it's a minus in the middle, it's going to be a minus on the middle term. But the black term's always going to be positive. because you're squaring.
Never wrote it down.
You ready?
Plus 20x.
Who's not ready?
A squared plus 40x plus 16x.
Not plus 20. Oh, what's that?
Alright, square the first term. What would be the first term squared?
25.
What's the last term squared?
16. No.
It's a plus in the middle, so it'll be a plus here. 4 times 5 is 20x, double it. 40x.
Does it have to be in that order?
That is the order you're gonna see 99.999% of the time. Yearly and
Like, you
descending
have to
order.
put the one without the variable at the
The
end?
constant always goes at the end.
You have to do that?
It's supposed to be, yes. Again, not wrong,
It's not wrong?
but not in the order it needs to
wrong,
be.
but it's not.
If it was on a test and you wrote it 25x squared plus 16 plus 40x, I'm gonna take a point off if you put it standard form. Alright?
Well, you're gonna count on this.
He's asking if he put 25x squared plus 16 plus 40x, is it wrong? It's not wrong, but it's not in descending order like it's supposed to be.
I thought you said it didn't matter.
I didn't say it didn't matter. I said it's not wrong. I said it will, but you're supposed to write it in descending order by exponent.
Okay, well, what about the things we did the other day, multiplying binomials, where it was like a long answer?
You talking about the addition and subtraction?
Sure.
It should be in descending order still.
But,
All right.
Will they ever put the negatives, like, will they ever make the
First one negative possible.
Oh, man.
Well, it wouldn't be nothing. If that was negative,
Well, I guess it wouldn't make.
all it would mean, you squared, it'd still be the same thing. Negative or positive squared, the first one's not gonna change it. All it would be is that would become, negative 5 times a negative 7 would be a positive 7. All right.
no, wait a second. I know.
Ready? Alright. What's the square of the first number?
49 y squared.
What's the square of the last number?
Negative, oh wait.
25.
Last one's 25.
What's the product of the two numbers inside?
That'd be negative 70 y.
Alright, it's negative 35, but you gotta double it, so it becomes negative.
Negative 70 y.
Wait, why do you?
Here,
Oh, yeah.
because you're gonna have a negative 5 times a negative 5. Negative 5 squared is positive. When you have one of these, the last term is always gonna be a plus. First term, unless it has a negative up here at the front, well, actually, this one doesn't matter. But you can have, if you put a negative up here, it's still gonna be a positive, because you square a negative number, you get a positive answer. So that's the same thing here.
Well, is that number always positive?
Yes. This number and this number should always be positive, and the middle sign, as long as there's not a negative up here, then the middle sign is always gonna be the same as that right there. Alright? You got that?
Oh, I forgot to simplify again. In my head. Pretty sure. Not doing it on paper.
Alright, now you can have a binomial times a trinomial. Folks, this is what I recommend. I'll show you another way to do it, but this is what I recommend at the beginning. Just take the first thing in the binomial and multiply times everything in the trinomial. And take the second thing in the binomial and multiply times everything in the trinomial. You should end up with 6 things across there. And I'm going to write it out first time. Be x times x squared plus x times 4x, and that's going to be a minus x times 5, then I'm going to go to the 3 times x squared, 3 times 4x, and minus 3 times 5. So that's x to the third power, 4x to the second, minus 5x, plus 3x to the second. That's going to be plus 12x, and then minus 15. And then all you're going to do is combine what you can. I don't have a 1x cubed term. I've got 4x squares and 3 more. It means I got 7 of them. Minus 5x plus 12x's. And then a minus 15 at the end. Okay? That's what I recommend for you. You say, well, that's a lot of work. Well, technically, you don't have to do that step. If you can go, all right, x times that's x cubed. And you can get all the steps. You can eliminate that second step there if you know what you're doing.
So what's the other one?
The other way is to do it like you'd multiply 127 times 32 long division or long multiplication. You know,
Where'd you get those numbers?
100.
That's the first time
If I told you to multiply that and you didn't have a calculator, you'd say 2 times 7 is 14, carry 1, 6, 7, 2, skip over a spot. That's it, 2, 12, and 14. And that's how you multiply that. That's how I learned to multiply. I didn't have a calculator.
Second grade, I was told I was taught to use this because it was not showing my work at all.
That is completely showing your work right
I
there.
know. That's what I looked at my teacher and went.
Where did you get those numbers?
Out of my head.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the
I'm just showing you, we're going to do this problem in this form.
That's what I want to see. That's
All right.
why I thought you took those numbers out of the problem, and I was wanting to know where you got them from. That's why I was so confused.
Alright. You can do it this way. Alright. It'd be 3 times the negative 5, be negative 15. 3 times 4 would be 12x. That'd be 3x squared. Alright. This is, and the reason, you're going to say, well, I've got to skip over. Well, the only reason you really have to skip over is because you want to line up your terms by powers, by exponent. I don't want to put a minus 5x under negative 15 because they won't combine. So yeah, you can say you can put a 0 there if you need to. That would be a minus 5x. That times that is 4x squared. And that times that is x cubed.
And you said we won't have a calculator?
Oh my God.
I don't know. That might not know any different.
They're the same.
both of them.
I like it.
And I don't care which one you do.
I'm doing the top one, that makes no sense.
You know,
What, multiplying equations together does it?
because technically all I've done is I took and multiplied everything here by 3, and I took everything here and multiplied times x. The key here is to make sure you have your terms lined up by powers. You don't want to have an x cubed under an x squared. You don't want to have a variable under a constant. Make sure they are all lined up and keep your signs.
Do we have to do it that way?
I will allow you to do it in either direction. You either multiply it out
I
like
like it
this.
that way because I
Well,
don't have to
we
go
take our
down the
points when we
line.
do it
It's
this
just right there.
This does eliminate the, having to find and match it up. Like this up here, I have to go, okay, here's an x squared, and I gotta go down here and find another x squared.
Yeah.
Whereas
And if there's
this one is already lined
And
up
if
for
there's
me.
multiple in the question, they're already on.
They're already there.
Yeah, there's one to do. I like that. So you just, you took the model and put it under, okay.
Do that one.
So that new math.
If you need a calculator to do anything in that problem, you can't. The hardest thing in that problem right there is 6 times 7. That's the biggest number.
I don't know.
No, I think it's 7 times 4.
7 times 4? The only thing there is it's talk over negative.
So can I have a calculator?
I don't mind if you get a calculator. Just don't get the one, my little thing set
We'll
on
figure
top
it out.
of it.
Nope.
Go get a ruler and see if it says what?
Clayton.
Clayton.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
All right.
Wait.
Come up, pass.
Y'all ain't done yet? What'd you do? Cheating. Okay. Yeah, no, I did it with scaling. You're just sleeping in your room and you hear that, you saying you won't be scared. Oh.
This is kind of confusing to me. Yeah. You?
What you do, 2 trinomials against each other. Same thing.
Same thing.
It's just
Same
longer.
thing.
Another step. It's like 3-digit number times 3-digit number.
I mean,
The problem lies is, I don't know how much of this students remember. Because probably since y'all were in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, they've gone away from basic Alright, here we go.
wait!
You called it. You had like 60 seconds.
I don't like it. That's.
Alright. This might help you. You know, you might put your finger over the X and just realize, it's -7 times that's -42. -7 times a -4, negative times negative is a plus, would be a plus 28x. That times that is 7x squared. Alright, then you go over here, 6 times x is 6x. X times a -4 is a -4x squared, and that times that is an x cubed. So I got x cubed, 7 minus 4 is 3, plus 3x squared, 28, and that should be a plus there, 28 plus that is 34x.
Oh, it's wet under my table. That's what it is.
Alright.
It's on my shoes.
Yeah, because the water's not wet.
Okay, I made that right.
That's the floor.
Oh, you get it right?
Section one.
Wait, let me check this.
You still haven't got your check.
I thought -7 times x squared is -7x
Yeah,
squared.
that
Should be. Oh, it should be. So finally somebody paid attention.
Oh, I thought I was just wrong.
I'm not seeing if anybody's paying attention. That should be a negative.
I skipped right over that. Everything else matched up. I just skipped.
It's the other way. First time.
Thanks for paying attention.
That water.
Basically, now we know we're using water
I
sweat.
skipped
Water
right
is made of individual molecules. So 2 molecules meet, doesn't that mean they mix?
Alright,
Therefore, water is wet.
I don't think so.
alright. Any questions? I don't care if you use this or if you just want to multiply everything out, that's fine.
I'm doing first one.
It's whichever makes you. Now, there is a trinomial.
I ain't got room. Oh, yeah, I got access.
You do have trinomial times trinomial. And again, if you want to, you go x to the second times x to the second plus x squared times 2x. That times that would be at minus 5 times x squared. And then you're going to have negative 3 times that, minus 3x to the times x squared. That times that would be not a plus, a minus 3x times 2x. That times that's going to be a negative times a negative is a plus, so it's going to be 3 times 5. Then you got to do the last one, and that's going to be a 4x squared. That times that's 8x. That times that's a minus 20.
Could you just like slow down for a second?
Get it. Look at that.
Hard for me to go slow.
Odd numbers. You know you're not figure out all that.
There's no way.
Well, give me like 20 minutes to calculate.
See, oh heck, I don't even have it all on the screen, do I? And you have to go back and combine everything.
You're gonna miss one.
Hold up.
2 minus 3 is negative 1, and that's the only ones in
I did it.
there.
I did it.
And squares, I got minus 5, minus 6 is a negative 11, plus 4 would be a negative 7.
Plus
23x.
minus 20. Yes, I did it.
Now, it does. It takes time. But you can do it the other way.
That's what I did.
You're gonna have to teach me to
And
do
finish
that.
this the other way.
Can't
I
even
did
fill
the
this
other
out.
way and finished before you.
Oh, good job, David. Maybe we can
I'm
do
just
your
quicker. I'm quicker.
future.
It's quicker.
Okay.
Congratulations.
But I'm like him. I would never do this problem this way. I'd always do it this way. So, all right, that would be a minus 20. That times that is a 15x. That times that's a minus 5x squared. That times that is 8x. That times that is a minus 6x squared. That times that is a 2x cubed.
Why'd you do
Now-
that over there?
Because I'm lining my two, just like here, you had a 0 here. You have 2 zeros here.
Why do you do it
Because,
over there?
well, because that's, you have to skip over places. X squared times 4 is 4x squared. That times that is 3x cubed. And, let's see, it should be minus 3x cubed. And that times that's x to the 4th. That's minus 20. It's going to be a plus 15 plus 23x. Negative 11 plus 4 is a negative 7x squared. Negative x cubed. Same answer.
And it's way faster.
A lot faster.
It doesn't take as much
A binomial times a binomial doesn't take as much room as a binomial times a trinomial. Trinomial times a trinomial. And it gets on up. If you take 5 terms times 5 terms.
We're not gonna do that though, are
Not today.
When's our test gonna be?
Not tomorrow.
Like if you
Oh.
if you can do 3 terms, you can do like 100.
We should just have this.
Yeah, I'll give you 100 times. I won't do it then. About 20 times 20.
Oh my lord. As a bonus? As a homework?
I would rather.
One
do
problem
a
homework.
multiplication.
Yeah, I'll take that over like 20 problems of this.
Well, you don't have-
I'd rather have 20 problems than this.
You don't have 20 problems with this. 24 problems with this.
The one that's got 10 of you.
All right. Any other questions?
did like, I did that last year.
We have homework, we just ordered this stuff. It's Monday, we just got back from a long
So
weekend.
you're going to study this tonight?
I would. Over homework.
Tell you what. Sure.
Then we're gonna have homework.
Do what?
No.
No, wait, no, I
You're gonna have work no matter what.
You just gotta go to the basketball game, huh?
I mean,
Let's just study this tonight.
I tell you what.
that's a pretty long way.
Yeah, I can't do this.
Go ahead. Study tonight.
You're welcome.
We're gonna get 10 pages tomorrow.
Okay.
This kid's getting your
But we can study before that.
Yeah, I was like, dang, it'll start like 7.
Get home, sit down, get the couch all fluffy up.
But I would know how to do this tomorrow. I'd work on it, make you up a few problems.
Like, how?
We were gonna have a test.
How do you think, do you think I just come up with them?
Yes.
What's the term like decimal? Decimal.
Have I came up with a decimal yet?
Oh, when you're
smart.
So the whole way
Hold on, hold on, you're not gonna get nothing with that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you won't.
Wait.
Alright.
I was out of my game.
I might have something else for you tomorrow too, so don't be careful.